welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Adoption a Breakdown. I am your host, John, and I am a certified golf instructor. I have worked a year and a half on a master's in counseling, and I'm hoping to become a author to publish a book one day. And also, I am adopted. So that's a little bit about me. Today, we're going to do some housekeeping, kind of give you guys a life update. I know it's been about 2 weeks since I updated you guys, since I gave a video. So we're going to do that, but also I'm going to talk about how to deal with stressful situations, because I think in these last couple weeks, even last month, there have been a few times where I've experienced some stressful situations, and I've had to reach out to friends and ask for advice in terms of how to deal with those stressful things. So I'll get into that in a little bit, but first I'm going to do some housekeeping things, some life updates, some yada yada. And I have some things jotted down just so I don't forget. Michigan, go blue! They're 2-0, so let's go. Happy for them. They're playing UConn this weekend, which they should win handily. They're favored to win by 40-some points, so that'll be really good. I went to Indiana last weekend, hung out with some friends who I hadn't seen in a long time. I played pickleball for the first time, and I didn't say then, but I feel like I did half decent. So if there's anybody, any of my friends from church or whatever that are watching that might know anybody that's into pickleball, if you guys are looking for another player, I might be able to play. Workout wise, road to ripped wise. These last couple of weeks I've been hovering at 247, 250, which you might say, oh, that's not good, but these last couple of weeks I actually started lifting weights more, started doing more Spartan workouts. So as I'm burning fat, I'm also building muscle, and muscle actually weighs more than fat. So there's going to be, a period of time where I'm actually gonna plateau, and then once my body has gotten used to the muscle that it's building, and then it'll really start to burn that fat, and then it should start to go down. And because of that, I'm gonna try to add more cardio. I've been doing some cardio, but I've been focusing on lifting weights. So in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to add cardio as well to my exercise. That'll be good. I've been counting calories. Obviously, when I went to Indiana, the calories were pretty high in Indiana. I think there was one day I was at like 3,900. But I played pickleball. I went for a walk and a jog when I was in Indiana, so I didn't do nothing. I lifted weights for a little bit. I wasn't doing nothing. And things at the golf course are going well. They're going good. Excuse me while I get a drink. I'm gonna also eat this cough drop. Not because I'm sick, but because with the weather changing, my sinuses have been acting up. No, I do not have the thing that we all think, you know, um, every year, whenever seasons change, for a couple weeks, my sinuses are just decimated. Um, Same thing um, this year, and I mean, I think in one of the last videos, I even mentioned how I sound nasally. So I should sound a little bit better today, which is good because I feel better. So yeah, but that is the housekeeping. That is the updates. I'm still single. I'm still a virgin. Not planning to change those things anytime soon. Um, I have my e-bike, electric bike, named Ganondorf. It rides like a dream. Um, yeah, all that's good to go. So anyway, I want to talk about the meat and potatoes about today's video, which is how to deal with stressful situations. You know, the time that I've been gone, there have been quite a handful of stressful situations that I've had to wrestle with. One of them being a guy. There are a couple of these, so I'm gonna try to run through them quickly. One of them being a guy on an older gentleman on a bike was riding on a sidewalk, which that's not weird, but I was riding on my bike and I was heading towards him. And to get out of his way so that we wouldn't run into each other, instead of riding onto the sidewalk, which is where he was, I rode into the grass to go around him. And as I'm biking past him, that whole thing, he says, I'm going to try not to clip this. He says, sidewalk. He says, sidewalk. He said, sidewalk. He said, sidewalk. And I'm like, what? What? I said, what? And he said, ride your bike on the sidewalk. And in my mind, I'd had a stressful day at work, so I didn't have any problem telling that guy what I was thinking and communicating my feelings. I said, no. And then, he's biking away, and I hear a, yes, yes, in the distance. And so, being the guy that I am, wanting to get the last word, I'm like, no, no. As he's biking away and I'm biking away, I'm like, no. And so, that was one situation where just not great, not good. Another situation that happened recently, this last month, was playing golf with a friend of mine. And now this is kind of a long story, so I'm going to try to truncate it. I was playing golf with a buddy of mine, and we were playing golf, and there's a lot of like golf rules and golf stuff that I could sit back and explain, but essentially this guy behind us hit his ball into where we were, which normally you don't do, but sometimes if the group in front of you is taking too long to play, you might do that just to like indirectly tell them, hey, you guys are taking a while, like move along, let's just try to go faster. Which, to be fair, we were going kind of slow. And, I, unfortunately, I didn't handle the situation very well. I let my anger and emotions get the better of me. I said some things I shouldn't have said, and I got mad, and that came out in the way that I talked to this guy. And, sometimes when things happen and you need to communicate to people, why something that happened shouldn't happen, it's normal to be upset, it's normal to talk firmly, but sometimes it's easy to go a little too far with that sometimes. And lately, that's been my struggle. And with this guy at the golf course, I went too far. And, it's embarrassing to admit. I actually, 5 minutes after that happened, I was talking with my friend, and I was just like, "You think I was too harsh on that guy?" And credit to my friend, he kind of walked me through what had happened, and he said, "Well, what do you think?" And I said, "I think I was too hard on that guy." And so I went back and apologized to him. And, I don't say that to brag or be like, "Oh, look at me." No, I say that because that's what happened, and that's what needed to happen. And I made a mistake, and I needed to own up to my mistake. I'm not perfect. And those things, the bike thing and the golf thing, along with, just, like, I'm sure, like, driving around town also, just in general, it's easy for me to get upset at other drivers, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. But all of those things, all of those situations kind of have led me these last couple of weeks to seeking out advice from my friends about how to deal with stressful situations and how to get through them without going crazy, which is a bit of a struggle for me. So my one friend who was with me at the golfing, who was golfing with me, he's a Christian just like me, and so one of the things that he recommended, which has been really helpful, it's something that I've been doing, is he recommended praying through those situations instead of just letting your emotions kind of dictate how you talk and how you respond and how you act. Taking a moment, even 3, 4, 5 seconds to step back and pray to God and be like, "Okay, God, this situation is like making me crazy. I pray that you allow me to be calm. Allow me to be loving. I pray you take away this anger, and I pray you help me move forward in a way that is worshipful to you and doesn't give Jesus a bad name." Something like that. And that's been really helpful for me um, to address issues at the golf course when I run into them, because a lot of people, when people play at the golf course, sometimes they don't know all the unwritten rules and the golf etiquette, all that stuff. It's hard to know if you don't play golf a lot, if you don't know golf, all that unwritten rules stuff, all that golf etiquette stuff. If you're new to golf, like it's a lot to know, it's a lot to learn. And so, being able to take a step back and do that has helped me. It's helped me a lot. And then also, a big thing that has helped me with dealing with stressful situations is I asked another friend of mine while we were actually watching while we were watching the first Michigan game 2 weeks ago. I asked my one friend, how does he? I asked for advice for this specific situation. My one friend, my other friend, he's done a lot. He has a lot of life experience. He's been in a lot of how do I say this? He's had the fortune to be around lots of different people, in lots of different situations, and so he's not unfamiliar with what I was talking about. Um, especially especially in the area of business. Um, I think did it was either 2 or 3 years he retired. I don't remember, but in the last couple of years he had actually recently retired, and so I was asking him for advice for this, and his advice to me was to think about these ideas of react versus respond. And he said, because he's a Christian too, and he said, a lot of the times we, as individuals, we want to react to things, which is spontaneously, you know, take our emotions and be emotional about things and react and a split second decision without much thought, without much logic. Um, but he said the opposite side to that is respond. Is, how do we take a step back and think about the situation in an objective way, in a logical way, and respond correctly. Um, he said because God wants us to respond. He said something interesting. He said God doesn't want us to be quiet. He wants us to respond. And because I think the point he was making too was that not only is it bad to explode and get mad at people and let your anger take over you, um, you know, not only is that bad, but it's also not healthy to just not say anything and bottle your emotions up and isolate yourself and take all those emotions and stuff them down. Because eventually, the longer you stuff those emotions down, the longer you isolate, the longer you bottle those things up, it's just going to shake up, it's just going to gather, and it's just going to get crazy. It's going to explode later. The old volcano analogy. And so that was really helpful for me as well, being able to take that idea of I shouldn't always react to something um, off the cuff. I need to learn to respond to these things in a way that is logical and objective, but also direct and isn't in a way that is stifling my opinion. So there's this balance of how do I give my opinion, how do I talk about my feelings in a way that is respectful, that isn't hateful, but is also clear and direct. And so being able to balance those ideas and being able to pray in the moment have been really, really helpful things for me to deal with those stressful situations. And I'm sure lots of you guys out there that are listening, you guys are all deal with stressful situations too. Whether it's trying to deal with a old biker, trying to deal with these people on the golf course, whether it's trying to deal with crazy drivers, or whether you're just getting food and you're in line at the store or the food, and somebody in line is just being really rude or disrespectful to you, or this or that, or something even perhaps even more relatable is you're talking with your family and someone in your family says something that's rude or disrespectful to you, and you just want to get really upset with someone in your family, and that's very easy to do. Lots of people do that, and there are even some people who wouldn't even blame you. They'd say, hey, they'd say, hey, do it. Do it. But I think learning not to do that and not to give into emotions, I think is better in the long run. That's just me though. So thanks for listening, guys, to this episode of Adoption and Breakdown, where I break down adoption and other stuff, other things, other thingamabobs. Um, if you guys enjoyed what you listened to, if you guys have enjoyed other videos that I posted that you'll listen to or watch, like my golf round or my road to ripped or my story about being a virgin or my adoption story, if you guys listen to any of my other stuff that you enjoyed, please comment, please subscribe, please share. You know, all that stuff helps me. Also I forgot, book wise. Book stuff is coming along. I'm still working on the books. Um, I meant to double check. Here, wait. I might be able to double check right now. So let me. I don't like that I'm doing this right now, but I'm gonna double check right now as I'm recording. Oh, it's true. Okay, 10 here. I hate to have these mouse click sounds in the video, but they're just gonna have to be in there. Sorry. 5, 15, and this is just 1. 16 plus. Oh, actually, this is kind of. No, this is actually more of what it is. So I can actually probably get rid of that. So it's probably more like 5, 5, 1, 11, 17. So it's probably more like 27. Okay, so I have 27 pages of content for my book that I've worked on recently, and 40 pages of content for my book that I have from before. So I'm at about 60 to 65 pages of content for my books that I'm working on right now. And I think I'm trying to aim for like 200 pages, which I don't think I'll have a problem getting to, just because a lot of that information that I've written down is really a lot of just outline stuff. It's a lot of skeletal stuff. So I really haven't even gotten into the meat of the stories. So I think once I get into the meat of all that stuff, my problem will actually be cutting back and getting rid of stuff that I don't need. But I'm going to still try to publish my books in January next year, but that's probably not going to happen. It's probably going to be closer to the summer, and that's okay. You know, whenever it happens, it could even be before that. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, so there is the update on the book. And I'm going to end today's video with a new segment that I want to add to future videos, if I remember. But I'm going to call it the Cool Content Corner. Cool spelled Kewl. And it'll be me recommending content that I like, that I watch, that is created by my friends. So, you know, I'm not the only person in my friend group that's creating stuff, that's doing stuff. And I thought it'd be a cool way to kind of give them a shout out and, you know, some of my videos. So, and I'm going to change up from video to video who I'm shouting out and who I'm advertising. So for the first Cool Content Corner shout out goes to none other than Timmons Podcast Network. My man Timon and Lincoln and all those guys over there. Shout out to Joe. You can catch these guys on Spotify, Timmons Podcast Network. Timon does 3 different podcasts. They're also on YouTube. They're also on Twitter. They're also on Instagram. I don't know if Timmons Podcast Network is the same name for all of those. I'm not 100% sure. I'll do a little quick check. Yeah, so Timmons Podcast is on YouTube. It's called Timmons Podcast. Just Timmons Podcast on YouTube. And on Spotify, it's Timmons Podcast Network. I like listening to their podcasts on Spotify. Sign up for Spotify. It's free. If you and they've been posting podcasts since I think 2018, 2017, for a long time. And if you go back long enough, 2019, 2020, 2021, you might find some podcasts that I was in, that I was talking on. Yeah. So Timon's a great guy. He shouts me out on his stuff. And so I was like, you know what? I probably should shout him out too on my stuff because he's a great guy, great content. He's based in the Goshen, Indiana area, and he's been interviewing a lot of different business people in the Goshen area. So if you know anyone that's in the Goshen area, he really does have a lot of really cool conversations with different people that are in the Goshen area that have businesses over there. For instance, real quick, one of the recent episodes is episode 52 with Chris Howell. And Chris Howell is the current executive director of Bible Memory Ministries. And they talk about lots of different stuff, but all the different people, all the different guests that he interviews, really great, really awesome, great content. Check it out. Give him a listen. And thanks for listening today. I'll catch you guys on the next episode of Adoption and Breakdown. Ciao.